But really excited to have everyone today. It's been an eventful month to say the least, and we have so many updates to share, so much to look forward to, and most importantly, an awesome team for everybody to get to know. So it is definitely the most relaxed event that we are going to be hosting before we get back to formalities of panel stuff. But it's good sometimes to just give the full team the credit they deserve, because I have not been doing this alone whatsoever. So just to kind of start catching everyone up on what's been going on, if you haven't we've been hard at work. We closed our applications at the end of last month for our program, for our initial cohort, for our venture studio, and we are currently reviewing those applications. If you applied, should have received the link for a survey, and if you haven't still filled out that survey or did not receive it, number one, check your junk inbox, and number two, reach out to us if you still haven't seen it. Secondly, we have been just rolling with events. We had our first in-person event at the beginning of the month on the 10th, and we have a bunch of events coming up that we'll be talking about today. But really just, obviously World Ocean Day is on the horizon. Here in Miami, Bitcoin conference is next week, and I'm sure it's going to be like Miami Tech Week version 2.0. So just lots going on, lots to look forward to, but most importantly, really want to just get everybody as excited as we are for getting to work this summer. So with that being said, I want to really start today by taking a moment, or more than a moment, quite a bit of time actually, for you guys to get to know our team. Really, not only have they helped me build Seaworthy, right, and carrying out this crazy big vision and getting it. By the way, it's just been about 8 months, a little over 8 months now since we launched, and we're now ready to build startups. But the key thing is that they're not here to just build Seaworthy. They're here to help build startups that you guys are bringing to the table too. And so I think it's really important when you look at an opportunity to really know all the resources at your disposal beyond just our mentoring collaborator network. And I really want to share just how awesome our team is and get to really brag about how awesome our team is. So with that, we're going to kind of just popcorn it and, let everyone talk a little bit just about who they are, how they got into Seaworthy, really, casual. We'll even have some questions at the end if you guys are curious to get to know our team a little more. And then we have a special surprise guest as well. So I'm going to throw it to Ben to start. Go for it, Ben.
It's an inauspicious honor. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you guys all for joining. It's really nice to see a lot of familiar faces and a couple of new ones. So yeah, I mean, what do you want, Daniel? You want name, background, why I joined? Does that sound right?
And what you're looking forward to this summer, just as a
little gotcha.
Wait.
Wait, yeah. Social security number. Oh, no, okay.
Okay, cool, great. So, hey guys, my name is Ben Hohn. I am heading up the content and marketing team for Seaworthy Collective. My background is in media. I work at a global media agency on an innovation consultancy group within a larger holding company. My focus is on basically consumer adoption of emerging technology. So for my day job, I focus a lot on things like esports and gaming, augmented reality. We've been doing a lot of research. I've been going deep down the Web 3.0 rabbit hole recently. So if anyone is working on an eco coin or some type of governance token, please let me know. I'm super interested to just sink my teeth into that and to learn more and to grow with that community as well. And so I basically, I've got to a point in my career where I'm really just excited to leverage the experience that I've gained towards something that's more in line with my personal values. I love the ocean. I attended the island school in Cape Eleuthera during high school, open water certified. I am obsessed with sharks and octopus. And, I guess if I was going to sum it all up, I'm here because I'm a total ocean and tech nerd. And what I'm looking forward to this summer is, honestly, I mean, the power of the community already has been incredible. Just being able to meet such amazing people who are way smarter than I am and doing such incredible things. And what I'm really excited for, I think from the Seaworthy content and marketing perspective is, how do we build marketplaces for these things? Like, how do we create a generation of consumers that are going to be interested in engaging with our brands, purchasing our products, and making choices that are just more respectful for the ocean, essentially? I mean, I believe that there's a lot of intention out in the world right now. People know that climate crisis is real and it's happening, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and but there's a gap between their intention and their action. And I think that through marketing, we can really help tell stories that resonate with people and help close that gap a little bit, allow them to see themselves in the stories that we're putting out there, and just really, in everything that we do, removing hurdles to adoption so that people can get involved and participate in whatever way, shape, or form they feel like they can. So excited to be here.
Thanks, Ben. Honestly, I forgot I meant to be like a hype man introducing everybody, so I failed you there. But I'll do post hype man work, I guess, and saying, Ben was introduced to me by someone actually in the Global Regeneration Collab Network, who said, "Oh, he's a guy and a diver," and I was at the time, I think, complaining about my distaste for social media, probably, but he's come in and just absolutely run this team like he's been here since day one. I mean, basically, yeah, but it's just been so seamless, and really, really am thrilled to have you along. And obviously, pleasure to work with the guy. So, with that, I want to. Speaking of day one, folks, I have to throw it to the OG, Julie. She has been officially with us now a year. She was the first person to jump on board with Seaworthy all the way back when it was just a harebrained idea, and now it's a little less hairy. So, Julie, we'd love to have you introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Daniel. And yeah, as he said, I'm here in Seaworthy almost a year now. It seems crazy how far we've become, how this amazing team has grown. I'm super proud of everyone here, and I'm really happy to be as well part of the Seaworthy team. Actually, here I'm volunteering as the community relations director along with Sarah, who is also on the same team. We are the co-leaders of the outreach and community relations team, but I'm more on the community relations side. So I'm from Latin America. I was born in Uruguay, and then I went to get my studies in marine biology in Chile, and now I'm back here in Uruguay, where I'm based right now. I had a background in small-scale fishermen. I worked almost a year with small-scale fishermen along the coast of Chile, and that's when I really fell in love with the power of entrepreneurships and innovations, and how these amazing solutions can be brought by technology, by entrepreneurs, and by innovation in being a solutions for the challenges most vulnerable coastal communities are facing right now due to climate change, due to overfishing, and due to so many other problems as well. And after that, I'm doing now, I work on marine education, bringing the marine ecosystem closer to coastal communities. And what I'm really looking forward to this summer is the Seaworthy community. I'm really excited to see how we're going to connect these amazing startups that we're bringing together with our mentors and collaborators community, which is the area where I'm focusing right now. We're making sure our mentors and our collaborators are feeling welcome, and they're empowering and sharing their knowledge with these amazing startups that we are going to build together. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm also really excited about how these amazing solutions are going to engage with the community and how they're going to make solutions for them. So that's me.
Thanks, Julie. And speaking of the community and community relations and outreach team, that team has been our bread and butter for that was my baby coming into this, and I very much was trusting implicitly of Julie and Sierra to take this on. And building our network has been one of the most monumental tasks for sure, and it's a lot of herding cats, but it's cats that are helping to change the world, so it's worth herding. That being said, Sierra has definitely been the other side of the power team there. So Sierra, want to jump in and introduce yourself a little further?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Sierra Phillips. I'm based in Southern California, Temecula, California, and my background is actually in psychology, but I transitioned to the ocean sphere. It's always been something I've been passionate about. I spoke at the CSW at the United Nations on climate change and protecting coastal regions. I am a dive master and DSD instructor. I've done work with other nonprofits in the ocean sphere as far as conservation, and I've worked as a National Geographic educator. And I got into this because, like Daniel, I am a big fan of UM, and he just recently graduated from UM with the same degree that I'm now entering and finishing. And so it's really great to be able to follow along in the same path. And so I'm an exploration science student for the MPS program there. And I got into Seaworthy through Daniel through this program, and we hit it off right away. We both are very passionate about the ocean and seeking that social justice there. And we shared a common story. If you don't know the background behind the Titanic, that's a really interesting story. Maybe Daniel, you can share a bit about that. But yeah, and I love what I get to do because I get to bring a little bit of my old world in with my new world. Because with my psychology background, I get to work with the people of Seaworthy every day and get to outreach to new people that have amazing ideas and just need the right tools and the right resources to make those results tangible. And so that I love my job here. It's been fantastic. And anyone who feels like they will fit in this team and would like to learn more, please contact me, because I'm excited to, with Julie, get you involved with Seaworthy and figure out how we can make your vision come true so that we can evolve the blue economy. And speaking of this summer, I guess exciting things for me is I'll finally be based in Miami as of this summer. So very excited for that.
I did a loud woo and then I realized I was on mute. That's great. Well, you know, the whole spirit of collaboration and accessibility and inclusivity very much runs through Julie and Sierra, and that's really been something that's core to what we're doing. But beyond that, it's also our messaging, right? And really getting the word out on how we're doing that, right? And communicating that so clearly and having a vision to do that. And Angela, I actually, fun fact, met diving, and I pitched her Seaworthy on a dive boat. It literally does not get more appropriate than that. So with that, Angela, I'd love for you to jump in.
Thank you. Well, hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining. I'm Angela Betancourt, and I'm the PR director for Seaworthy. And I work with this incredible team of people that are just brilliant and inspire me every single day, both on messaging and content creation. And you'll hear more about Alexandra in a minute, but she's been amazing in so much of these PR efforts. As Daniel mentioned, we met on a dive trip. He was my dive buddy. And after the dive, he started telling me about Seaworthy Collective. And I just thought, yes, this is awesome, amazing. I want to be involved 100%. I'm a certified advanced nitrox diver, on track to become a master certified diver. So I'm very passionate about the oceans. I love it. It's my happy place. And I knew that being involved with Seaworthy Collective just made so much sense, because there is so much work to be done in this space, so many areas that can use all of our collaborative efforts to find creative and innovative solutions for. So I knew I needed to be involved in this. I joined the team, I think it was last October or something like that. It was towards the end of last year. And just when I was gearing up, I left for 4 months because I'm in the Air Force Reserve. So I went off to boot camp and all this other craziness. And Alexander was amazing in really kind of picking up the pieces and just putting things together and making things happen while I was gone. So now that I'm back here in Miami Beach, I'm just super thrilled to help Seaworthy Collective tell their story, help reach new audiences along with the content team and the outreach team, and help create the messaging and make sure that we're maximizing all of the incredible things that we're doing and finding ways to continue to tell our story so that we can get more brilliant people and awesome people to join our team. And this summer, I'm just looking forward to the wonderful things we're doing with our opportunities for sea change initiatives. So I'm excited with everything that's going on there. I'm excited for all of the upcoming events and things that we're going to be doing. And I'm looking forward to helping to continue to spread that message and tell that story.
I was gonna hype up Alexandra, but you stole my thunder.
Oh, there's still a lot more hyping that
Oh yeah,
can be
no,
done.
never enough
So
hype
that's
for
not
Alexandra.
enough.
Alexandra's gonna just, try to mute us. Luckily, I'm the admin for this call, so ha. That being said, Alexandra has definitely just impressed us since day one. I'm so thankful for all the hard work she's put in. She's basically on every team, right? So she's been our utility woman, to say the least, and finally, I got to meet her in person for the first time 2 days ago here in Miami. So, Alexandra, would love to hear you as well.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Alexandra Davis, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. I am originally from Jupiter, Florida. So I was born in New York, but have been here my entire life. And now I go to school out of state at the University of Minnesota. But growing up on the coast, I just had an affinity for water. My mom was always sticking us outside and locking the door in the best way. And I grew up just being amazed by everything around me and wanting to protect it and preserve it. And being the eldest of 5 and having so many young kids around me from such a young age, I had a desire to be a teacher. And so at Loggerhead Marine Life Center here, I did a lot of education work. I was a TA there and an intern for them for a very long time, just trying to modernize their work for young adults and also for younger children. With Loggerhead, I just realized that science communication is so valuable. We really need people who understand the science, but also people who are able to communicate it to those who aren't necessarily passionate or have the resources to be passionate about it. And so I kind of find that my bread and butter. I got my international baccalaureate degree or focus studies in high school, and one of my courses that I took was economics, and I loved developmental econ. So now I study applied economics with a focus on public sector. And then I also study conservation biology, so a dual degree, hoping to go into nonprofit management. And I met Daniel through Beneath the Waves. So I've been volunteering with them for about a year. And Daniel and I were on a call together, and he heard about my background. And also I heard about Seaworthy, and he asked me to help out on a project, and the rest has been history. So I really, as someone who is 19 years old and loves to be working with amazing women and also great men on this team too, I think it's very valuable to just put yourself in a position of just asking if anyone needs help, and here we are. So I am so excited for the summer and to meet all of you, hopefully in person and virtually, and also for econ, decide on a way to measure impact, because I am also a nerd like Ben.
Well, excited for you, Alexandra, and we're so happy to have you. And last but certainly not least, Max has been probably I want to say like yin to my yang. Like, I talk very fast. He helps center, keeps me centered. And I'll never forget my first pitch to an investor and having Max there, and literally him messaging me on the Zoom saying slow down, and that was just one of those signature moments on this journey. But all that being said, Max has just come into the fold. Gosh, how long has it been now, Max? It has to be at least 4 or 5 months. But such a critical evolution in our model, and I've valued his expertise super highly, and really just excited to have him, as well as being a passionate diver. I'm waiting to go on a dive with you as well. So Max, go ahead and jump in.
Thank you, Daniel. So I've been part of the team about 6 months, so not as long as some of the other faces here, but I'm from Florida, like so many of the other people here. I grew up on the beach, went away for school up in New England, and really enjoyed my -30-degree winters, and that was absolutely terrible. I came back here, decided this is where I want to live, really just because of the proximity to the water. I'm a dive instructor. Actually, I do a lot of dive instruction for more advanced level diving. I started my own business, so I have a feeling for the pain points of taking a small business up to larger growth. And then recently, I've actually taken a job as an investment operations manager for a venture capital syndicate, so I can also help hopefully get some of our startups the funding they need to get down the track. Lucian, I actually had read your application and we were just talking about you, so I'm glad to see you here. We'll send you a meet shortly and we'll talk. But that's me, guys. Thank you for coming. Good to see so many faces.
Keeping the surprises coming today. One other person I'm really excited to introduce is someone who is on our recently configured advisory board. I'd love Carolyn to chime in.
Hi, everybody. Great to meet you all, and what an impressive group. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see everyone in person. My husband Chris and I moved to Miami this winter, and as we were looking around at what was going on in Miami, Seaworthy caught our attention and reached out to Daniel, and we met for coffee and have been meeting for coffee ever since.
And construction.
Yeah, and so we're very passionate. My husband and I are very passionate about the ocean. We're sailors. We've been racing sailors for a long time and spend a lot of our time on the water. We also have a boat that we cruised around about halfway around the world on over the course of 4 years. We're actually sitting on the boat right now and spend a lot of time on the water. So feel passionate about solving some of these big problems that are going on with our oceans. I also spent about 20 years working with the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, which was kind of focused on improving the water in a very smaller watershed, if you will, than the ocean, and also got involved with a group called Sailors for the Sea, which is now part of Oceana, which is another not-for-profit very much focused on ocean health. But what I loved about what Daniel was doing, I work a lot with startups and business accelerators, and this brings together ocean health and a business accelerator / startup studio all together. I was like, this is two of my passions coming together in a perfect way. And Daniel has so much energy and enthusiasm and smarts. Love his vision for what he's trying to do with the blue economy. And so we're just happy to be involved and help wherever and however I can.
Well, we're really glad to have you. And it's been just awesome finally getting our board together, which we haven't formally announced yet, but we're here for spoilers today. It's a hype event. So want to make everyone excited for what's coming next. But we have some really exciting people, both on our advisory board, as well as our professional advisors, one of which being Mark Abbott, the past president of Woods Hole, officially on board as one of our advisors. So really, really, really exciting to get that out there pretty soon. So I'm just going to go through the list of spoilers / things to look forward to on our end. And then we have one other big surprise in store for our event today. So as you guys know, next month is World Oceans Month, and we have a lot in the works right now. Some of it is still getting finalized, so don't hold us to it yet, but you will be hearing from us. Really right now, our first thing is our World Oceans Day panel has been confirmed. We're going to be doing a deep dive into seaweed, which, as you probably heard me say at least 10 times by now, is the tech I am most excited about for ocean regeneration. We have two of the leading experts in carbon sequestration through seaweeds that are going to be on a panel, Brian von Hertzen and Loretta Roberson. And then from there, we're also working on an in-person event, partnering with the Ocean Rescue Alliance for June 11th here in Miami. And then on June 17th, there's a major transportation conference called Commotion Miami that we're going to be partnering with for another in-person event at the Oasis in Wynwood for a mixer around marine transportation. So that's a lot of the stuff to look forward to on the event side. But what we're all here for is building startups. So, right now what we're doing, we sent out, as I mentioned, a survey to everyone of the 150 plus people who applied for our programs. We are currently reviewing those surveys now. Again, if you applied and have not received the survey, please reach out. I hope it's not in your junk box. But bottom line, we've been really excited to see already, just from the 30, almost 40 responses that we've gotten so far, just how deep, it's a much deeper dive into people's backgrounds and where they're coming from and kind of what stage of entrepreneur they are. And it's really just been really cool to see the diversity of people you're bringing together, but the shared passions that are so, aligned with what we're going for here, right? Is changing the world and doing it in a way that, is both regenerative, but also really, something that people want to do for a living and not just do for the sake of doing it. And so that's been really exciting. And beyond that, our timeline right now, one of the, to be fully transparent on where we're at, aside from reviewing the applications, we're making the big push right now for our initial raise so we can bring all this amazing team on full time. You know, it's amazing to say that everyone you've heard from has been volunteering since day one. And as much as it's been great to get volunteer work, we all know people want real jobs out of this as much as I do. So, you know, that's really the big push we're making right now so that we can get to work on this full time. So we're building startups alongside people full time. And really the goal that I set, this is over a year ago, was at this point to say, you know, we're not going for funding until we know for a fact that input funding output real tangible results. And basically we're sitting on all these amazing applications. We have this 70+ mentor and collaborator network now that we're able to connect the dots with for people trying to build startups. So we're ready to roll. And now it's just a question of getting that initial catalytic funding so that we can get the team on board and really start building. In fact, actually, you haven't even heard from our whole team because there's some people still who aren't here today that we aren't able to share just yet. But really, you know, the people we have in our pipeline, as you can see just from our amazing team here, it's just really humbling and exciting to get to work with all of you. So that's really, you know, where we're at right in this moment. I've been making phone calls pretty much every day, or Zoom calls rather, you know, looking for where we can get potential sources of funding and seeing a lot of promising prospects. But you know, if there are people out there in your networks that you think would want to support what we're doing, please, you know, feel free to connect with us. That's literally what our team is for, is here to help, again, build the community, and that's from all sides. So beyond that, though, you know, what the timeline looks like on building startups, our goal is that June or July, we are going to be starting to build startups, preferably June. If we can get this fundraise done by June, we are building it in June. But definitely by July, we will be building startups. And you know, we're going to be in touch with everyone who applied, you know, again, followed up on their surveys. But more importantly, you know, we're continuing to accept applications on a rolling basis if you didn't already apply as well. So, you know, the last piece I'll just say before we move on to our last little special feature here, you know, we've been really just been able to capitalize on a lot of momentum. Actually, Carolyn touched on a little bit of being in the Miami tech ecosystem, and last night I got to attend, or we got to be a featured company or startup in a pitch competition in Wynwood. And you know, there is just this, I'm sure a lot of you probably heard, magic of the Miami tech movement that's been happening. And, you know, we've said we've been in it, but obviously a lot of it's been virtual. But last night was absolutely, you know, the Miami Mayor Suarez spoke at the event, and then we went on that stage not even an hour later to pitch, right? And we're getting to really put our stake in the ground that we are not only a startup in the ecosystem, but a leading startup in this ecosystem, and leading in a space that no one else is even coming close to. And that's probably, to me, what has me the most excited and amped. In addition to that, we were also literally the only startup that engaged the crowd, and a lot of people were kind of sleeping through it. But you know, it just was a really milestone moment for us in seeing how supportive and how connected we are with the growing community and growing tech ecosystem here. And so, you know, as there is so much of this hype around Miami tech, and a lot that is, you know, a bit overwhelming for how quickly it's all happening, you know, we are very much part of it, and if not leading in it. And so, you know, I just want to share that excitement with all of you, because it has truly been a just crazy awesome momentum to see. So I just want to leave it there as far as where things are at. Just only a few things going on. And also, if you haven't seen our last blog post that recapped the whole last month of stuff that's gone on, there's even more there. So feel free to check that out on the news tab of our website. But I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has. You can put in the chat. But other than that, I want to throw it to our last surprise guest of the day, which is Anya. Anya is one of the people who applied for our programs, and I will leave it to her to introduce what she's going to be working on this summer.
Thanks so much, Daniel. I'm so happy to be here. Hi, everybody. So my name is Anya. I'm originally from Ukraine, and I grew up in Israel, and then I studied in Shanghai and Cape Town, and eventually I ended up in Miami. I went to law school at UM 10 years ago. Well, I started law school 10 years ago at UM. And I'm very passionate about the city. You know, it's giving me, even though I'm from all over the world, I feel very much at home in Miami amongst its diversity. And also I really appreciate its freedom, the freedom that we have here. You know, having lived in other countries, I'm grateful to be in America, but especially in Florida, and especially in the last year, just incredible that we're able to build while everyone else, you know, is just trying to survive and do their best. So one of the challenges that our city is facing is rising sea levels. There's actually 500 cities worldwide at risk from rising sea levels, but we happen to live at the epicenter of it. And it's a very exciting time because Miami is either going to be a lesson for everybody, you know, or it's going to be an example. And we hope that we can innovate and provide one of the examples that then can be duplicated in other cities. So what we're doing is it's a project of seawalls. But these seawalls are actually a convergence of 3 different technologies. So the way that seawalls are built now, and by the way, seawalls is the way that rising sea levels are being addressed by the city and in private homes. And right now it's just like a flat cement wall. I'm sure you've seen it. And it's very, very expensive. Like for example, in Miami, it's $1,000 to $2,000 per foot. And when you have a house, it's usually around 100 feet. And in Miami, most people can afford it who live on the water, but in other cities, it's completely cost prohibitive. So they're planning to relocate entire communities. So the expense is the first problem. The second problem is the environmental impact. So University of Miami did a study that once you put in one of these flat seawalls, 45% of the biodiversity leaves, and that reduces the quality of water. So those are the primary problems, and it's slow. So it's expensive, it's slow, and it's bad for the environment. So our project, it's our living seawalls. So it's convergence of 3 technologies. The first is 3D printing. So instead of using molds, we're actually printing on site. So we repurposed large scale 3D printers that were being used for houses. We have a gantry off-site. We're looking for land now in Miami where to put it, and it's going to just print the panels, and then we drive them to the site, and then we have on-site robotic arms, which is like a mobile arm. We just drive to the backyard and it prints the cap, the top of the seawall, right then and there. And the exciting thing about 3D printing, one is that it's much, much, much cheaper. And it's especially cheaper when you do custom things. Like the printer it has freedom of design. It doesn't care, is it flat, is it a heart, smiley face? In this case, our design mimics a coral reef and mangrove roots. So before, this is something, again, that would have been, when it's already so expensive to do a flat seawall, to do molds of these specialized designs was too expensive. Now we can do a seawall at half price and still integrate this incredible design of this coral reef structure. And that's of course amazing because it hosts biodiversity and a lot of feeders that are cleaning toxins from the water. So it's also great for the quality of water. So that's the first and most important technology we're converging is 3D printing. The second is material innovation. And we're working with UM on our materials. So we're starting with concrete. We have a specialized formula so it doesn't leach like regular concrete. And instead of reinforcing the seawalls with rebar, like it's traditionally done, we're using plastic fibers. So it functions the same way as rebar, but it's actually made of recycled ocean plastic. Not only is it a great way to use ocean plastic, but actually doubles the lifespan of the seawall. The reason now seawalls only last 20, 30 years is because the rebar, which are the metal poles, they expand over time and they pop the concrete. So now when we eliminate this whole, all the rebar, we just have the fibers mixed into the cement, we can reinforce it. Actually, it's even stronger in our tests than traditional wall with rebar, and it doubles the life span of the seawall. And it's still cheaper, so it's just an amazing product. And third, what we're doing, because we created this really big margin with the cost savings of 3D printing, we are incorporating sensors. So I don't know if you know, you're in this blue tech world, so I'm sure you've heard there's a lot of breakthroughs in sensor technology in the last 2 years that we really want to capitalize on. So for example, in the past, you have to have many sensors to track different water quality points. Now we have one sensor to track multiple data points. And more importantly, the bigger breakthrough is now these sensors can communicate with 5G. And before you could do it, we could build a big gauge house to have like a whole satellite, and it was like extremely expensive and cost prohibitive. Now it's a tiny little, like looks just the same size as a sensor. We added it to the top of the seawall, and now it connects to our dashboard so we can track the quality of the water quality data on our dashboards. But more importantly, it creates a network. With each seawall, we're creating a network. So eventually, we're starting in Miami, but this will be a global project. Eventually, it will be a global network, not just data points, but actually movement of things like algae or toxins or microplastics, whatever it is. And we want to make it available for the groups that can, really take action on that data. So that's kind of it. So it sounds like it's a kind of like a far-fetched project, but it's been moving so fast because all these pieces exist, and we're just combining them and using them in a new way. And I'm so grateful for you guys. I was actually introduced to Danielle by a friend that's like very involved in the community. She runs all the bureau offices. It's like the WeWork of Miami. They have many locations. So she sent me your original application, and then Danielle and I met at a party that he had in Key Biscayne, which is where actually I live. Like I walked over, and I was just so impressed by the quality of people, of you guys, and also the people that were at the event. I mean, it was just amazing. There's a commissioner there, a lot of investors there. And I just think the timing for all of us is amazing, because everybody wants to be involved in this conversation and innovation, rising sea levels, any kind of blue tech opportunities is something that we don't need to educate anybody. They know it's important and they want to help. So it feels like the right place, the right time. And I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Anya. Well, we are thrilled to have you, and what a wonderful way to kind of just kick off showing the amazing people that we're going to have building startups with us. It's really, really exciting just to hear your passion come through so clearly. But more importantly, I mean, I kind of want to like throw it to someone on my team. Like, did anyone else hear anything like what I talk about all the time? Implementation, right? And just, actually applying it to doing things that help regenerate the oceans, right? We don't need to reinvent the wheel to solve these big problems. We just need to bring the right people together with the right solutions and get to work. So we're excited to help, empower the work that you're doing. Team, we've got so much lined up already. And just I see going on in the chat here, even more resources already getting thrown your way. That looks like a great link there, Chris. But that's really the whole point of this, right? Is there are these incredible world-changing ideas that we need to be able to implement like 10, but that second best case is now, right? And this community is enabling us to do that. And Anya is just a first of many examples of people that we're bringing in to really help drive the change we need forward. And I literally said I was messaging someone in the chat. I'm like, we just need another 10,000 Anyas. We'll be set. So if you know anything about cloning, that's not in our verticals, but still would invest. So that all being said, we have about 20 minutes left. So I wanted to leave some time. If anyone had any questions, feel free to pop in at any point. Really, our goal here today was just to make this team accessible to everyone, kind of unveil the curtain, make sure people knew all of the faces that are driving forward what we're doing. And even still, this is only a third of our team, guys. So it's really just awesome to see everyone get to finally meet each other and really connect some dots here. But we're happy to stick around and answer any questions you guys have. This is really one of the rare times that we get to kind of get away from the formalities of panel events and just make a space for people to come in together. So happy to hang out for a bit. If you need to run, you can run too. But if you have any questions, feel free to chime in, unmute at any point. You're welcome to. Thank you, Nadal.
I'm curious if you can talk at all about some of the projects that are coming up in the opportunities for sea change, or if it's still too early to.
Okay, I could do some screen sharing. Hold on, give me a second here. But I'll briefly start by saying, it's a combination of a confluence of factors for us, right? Because basically the beauty of having our mentor network, right, is that there are so many people who are paving the roadway for for people to actually, have not only so much of the legwork being done, but really, be able to get started much faster than if you were doing it from scratch. So I'm gonna share my screen and give you guys a little insight on some of the applications we received. So give me 1 second. And whatever you do, don't look at the number of tabs I've opened. It's going to cause anxiety. So, this is, we sent out the survey. And again, if you haven't answered the survey, please get on that ASAP because we're going to be reviewing these next week at the latest. So basically we said, what were your top areas that you were interested in for the opportunities for sea change, right? So far we've had 36 responses. And so basically, we've had the most popular categories being plastics pollution detection and removal, and ocean data, technology, and emerging innovations. However, coastal resilience is right behind you. And Anya, these are people that would be helping you out or building things in parallel to you. And then regenerative ocean food sources and seawater as a resource, we're tied at 5. And then even though carbon dioxide greenhouse gas removal is the least necessarily popular, but it again is what we're most excited about for building the system of solutions we talked about. I actually just met someone else yesterday, or no, 2 days ago, who's interested in the space, and we're really excited to hopefully have an opportunity to work with him building it. So, on one hand, it's basically negotiating this balance of, who we have in our community that can help us implement solutions right away and help us make the change that we need to happen. But on the other hand, our community is obviously speaking. If you look at the second choice too, the ocean data tech category really takes the cake there. Obviously that's where a lot of the interest is. So we want to make sure that we're combining what our community is looking for and what what we need, what we're able to implement right now. And so one of the cool opportunities that we're working towards is, I mentioned pretty early on that we've been working with Nova Southeastern in Fort Lauderdale, and they're opening up an innovation hub in less than 2 months. That's going to be doing very similar offerings of programming of what we're doing from ground up, right, through incubation and acceleration. And so, they want to be in our space too. And basically we said, well, we're building up the resource network, we're building up the talent pipeline. We're not going to be able to build that many startups ourselves, right? It's a very time intensive and resource intensive focus to build startups. And so basically we're saying, well, we can build 3 here in Miami and we'll share our pipeline of talent and resources, and you run them through your programs, and we'll build another 3 up there so that we're building the ecosystem together. So our goal is that we're going to have 6 startups being built to start this summer in unison. And no matter what, everyone's part of the collective. That's the whole point. But either way, you're getting the resources that you need through the formal ideation, incubation, acceleration programs, and at the same time, the tailored resources for the ocean space with dedicated mentors and really just access to building a team and the talent that we bring together through our community. So that's on one side of it. This is a good question too. This gives you a little insight into some of the expertise of people coming into it. So, anything from just being a passionate change maker to having the technical scientific expertise, business expertise, and product development, which I am really shocked to see how many people have that experience already. So that's really something exciting about all of this. And then I'm going to zoom past the bios and just kind of show also the stage of entrepreneur of people who've applied. So it's a really, again, diverse mix. We've seen people who are aspiring entrepreneurs who are just looking to get into it for the first time, or people who are in the idea phase and haven't gone to execute on it yet, to people who already have a product and are looking for new opportunities, and those who are in between. And so, again, just amazing, really amazing distribution and representation of the community that we're building. And I think, and then, there's last piece that I think is really exciting. So the majority of people, 60-40% split, are not even here in South Florida. However, all but 2 are willing to relocate here. And turns out selling people on moving to Miami isn't a hard sell. So that was really exciting as well. So that's kind of the full behind the curtain of what's going on. And we're excited to see who else comes down the pipeline.
Super cool. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, no problem, Kirsten. Any other questions, guys?
I had a question, Dan. So can you just talk a little more detail? What is your vision of how will you work with startups? Just how do you see this whole project?
Absolutely. So, it's basically there's multiple pieces to this, right? So it's having both the resources lined up, which, you know, basically Subtle now gone. We have, you know, someone who's working already with Reef Safe Concrete already that we know that can help out a lot and has a lot of the connections to help implement the solutions that you want to build. You know, and having a dedicated mentor as well in the space, whether it's on the business side or on the actual seawall side, right? And then at the same time, it's figuring out how do we build the team, right? And that's honestly, to me, the biggest art of this is making sure we're building teams that, you know, have both the technical expertise, but at the same time, that soul, that passion that you can't, you know, it's either there or it's not, right? And you obviously have that. So it's really important for us to be able to give people like that really the opportunity to lead the charge on that and build the team around that, knowing that that passion is what's going to drive the business forward. And then the last piece is programming, right? I mean, so basically we have a programs director who I'm not allowed to specify, but shortly we'll be able to announce publicly, who's just a Miami Tech vet, and she has tons of experience running programs for incubation here in Miami. And she's going to be able to, I've run her by the vision of what we're doing, and she says she can do it with her eyes closed. So, you know, it's really about giving people all of the education into how do you go from ideation through incubating your idea to getting MVP. So our goal, right, of Venture Studio is getting you to pitchable, executable concept, right? All of the road is paved for you. Literally all you need is that initial investment, which we say is 125K for a seed round to get started. And then through your first 6 months, you get to the MVP, minimum viable product. And then you get to the incubation stage after that. That gets you through incubation stage to MVP, and then you're able to get the actual investment to really help you take off. So it's really to get you into these 3 phases of ground zero, pitchable, executable concept. Everything's lined up. You have the team that's ready to execute and the resources behind you from day one to make sure you can get there. And then finally get through incubation. You have the actual prototype. You can say, we can build this here, we can replicate this, scale it, and really grow a sustainable business that makes real impact. And so that's really, you know, the goal of what we're setting up. And then even on top of that, there's acceleration for helping you scale on top of that. So that's a little further down the line next year. But either way, full scope of what we're building. And then the best part is, you know, we can build that here in Miami. We're going to have Fort Lauderdale option as well for their programs. And we're already talking from South America to Africa to even Central America about opportunities to have pipelines there. So, you know, the applications of just the technology, right, is pretty much universal. It's the oceans are everywhere. So, you know, that's really the goal, is that we're able to set up these pipelines not only to help grow businesses in new places, but help implement solutions all around the world that can really save our oceans. Awesome. Any other questions, guys? Go for it, Marcos.
Hi, how are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing great. I heard you talking about, you know, what you're doing. I think it's amazing. The first time we met, of course, was, you know, with Urella and stuff, and I was kind of at a little impasse as to where to go. And then I think we had one party we all went to, and since then I've received help from various other people that, you know, we're introduced to. Not going to really get into the specifics, but my question is, you know, this is a new space for all of us. You know, there's nobody that's a 30-year expert on renewables or you know, these type of things that we're doing to clean, and like for me, you know, cleaning and restoring the environment. So this is all kind of new, but what gave you the idea to get us all together? Because that's been the thing that hasn't happened. You know, we got all these people that do all this stuff, but we've all been individualized and we're pretty much separated, and, you know, we end up talking to the same people, but we weren't together. What was your motivational factor for getting us all together so that we could indeed collaborate and move forward as a group instead of individually?
Great question. It's a couple different pieces to it. You know, it started for me seeing, and by the way, if anyone from the team wants to chime in too, feel free on this. I'm happy not to take up all the talking space here. Because I'm actually really curious to hear everyone else's perspective on this, especially probably Julian Sierra, because this is your job now. But you know, it's to me, the reason why it started was really out of necessity, right? I mean, it's, because the current system, as a systems thinker, the current system for ocean innovation, right, isn't set up to support developing the solutions we actually need. It's set up to support fossil fuels and defense companies. I know that firsthand from working in the marine robotics field, from Boston to San Diego, the two biggest blue tech hubs, and seeing all of my professional opportunities get engulfed by these two industries. And the unique opportunity here in South Florida was that basically there hasn't been a blue tech industry because those entrenched private interests don't exist here. So as much as it's been a hurt the ecosystem, it's also the opportunity we have to build the ecosystem for the right reasons. And so to me, that monstrous goal of building an ecosystem, I mean, we're literally not duplicating, but we're mirroring the efforts of what these major giant corporations are doing as a as just community building without yet monetizing. Right now we're ready to, and we have our Blue Economy Fund, right, of $30 million getting built by one of our partners. There's also, one other thing I didn't mention today, another VC fund coming down the pipeline of $100 million clean tech fund, hopefully being announced next month. Spoiler. But it's really, I think, this notion that people know it's what's needed. And I think it's just creating, the key piece is the accessibility, creating the accessibility of opportunity, creating inclusive community and inclusive opportunity. That's really, to me, what was really wrong with the field. Everything was exclusionary. I mean, one other thing I always forget to share about my story is I got rejected from UCSD 3 years in a row. And, if someone with years of experience operating and designing underwater robots can't get into UCSD because they don't have a 4.0, right? What other talent is getting missed out on, right? So many barriers in this space, so exclusionary. And so that's really, I've shied away from using the word disruptive, but that is what we've done. The whole prerequisite free opportunity for the oceans is completely contrary to everything else that is set up in this space. And there's so much of this perpetuation of needing a PhD to innovate, needing a marine science degree to do ocean tech work. Like it's all BS. I mean, it's literally, I said this at our first event in person, fluids is fluids, whether you're doing aerospace or underwater, it's the same stuff. Underwater is harder, we like to say. So it's really just about demystifying it. And, someone just had to kind of step up and call BS about it, because it's really silly to think that the only thing holding us back from actually implementing solutions and making the change we need is, just social constructs. Wow, never phrased it that way, but I'm going to start using that. So that's really kind of the bulk of it is, once we were able to take a hard look at it, and again, that's really, to me, the systems thinking approach of it, and understand what the real barriers were from funding to the social construct side. That, to me, was what opened people's eyes and said, okay, we can actually build a community of these people that really get it and identify with it, and then do something about it. And that last piece is the key piece. It doesn't mean anything unless there's tangible impact, right? And that's where we're at, right? And it's not just to say that, it's say that because we need it. So I know I rambled a little bit. Sierra and Julie, you want to chime in on this at all?
Yeah, actually I do. So a big part for me that was really important about Seaworthy is the values, which I'll just quickly put in the link to our values here. Definitely should check out. There's a lot more about what Seaworthy is about here. Because in the ocean industry, or in any industry, unfortunately, the funding a lot of the time comes from the people that you're trying to fight against. So some of if you've seen Seaspiracy or some of those other documentaries, one of the main supporters of fisheries and preventing plastics and is these fishing industries, or one of the biggest supporters for climate change is oil, and so we want to be able to give those out there different options for entering the blue economy, so that they can have the same ethical standpoint they were hoping to stand behind when they first created these visions. So not only tangible results, but results that they can be proud to stand behind too. And Daniel has definitely demonstrated that there, and everyone on our team has as well. So.
Can I go? I I also would like to add to Daniel's and Sarah's work as well that it's also super related to about the interdisciplinary we have in Seaworthy Collective. Is that something that is lacking on the ocean sphere is the interdisciplinary. Because when we are talking about challenges in the ocean and looking for solutions, we of course we have to deal with the biology and ecologic sides of the problems, but also we're dealing with people. And when we're dealing with people, we have to look for the social science behind it, the economic science behind it, and the cultural science behind it. And for those kind of things, we need people from psychology like Sierra, we need people from marketing and content like Ben and Angie, and we also need the funding side and the economic side like Max and Daniel has talked about. So what I really think that it's engaging and it's empowering this whole Seaworthy community and the whole community is the interdisciplinary we bring into the ocean sphere and we bring into the solution we're looking for.
The last thing I'll add, just to jump in here, you know, Daniel hyped us up each individually at the beginning of this call, so I feel like I have to return the favor. But the fact is, Daniel's a special guy. You know, it's rare that you get the knowledge and the know-how in one person, someone who is able to understand the challenges that need to be solved and the solutions that he needs to put in place to solve them, all while maintaining the humility to understand what gaps he needs filled by his network. So his passion is magnetic, and I think that goes a long way towards the community that we've built.
Thanks, Ben. Now I'm all you know. Anyway,
For Clem.
Yeah, what a good word choice. Wow. Well, that was like the perfect way to wrap this all up today. Like literally goals achieved for this call. So well done, everybody. Great question, Marcos. So with that, I hope you guys are as excited as we are for the summer. If you can't tell, this team just is freaking awesome. My inner sailor almost came out there for a second, but you know, it's really just been a long road to get to this point. I'll probably be sharing a little more about that next month, but to know that we're in a place right now where we're really able to execute on this vision, and it's not some like far out thing, that we're really there. It's really been humbling. And, you know, last night with this pitch competition, just to really be able to have a platform quite literally to say, again, that we're leading this movement in Miami Tech for blue tech, for ocean regeneration. I mean, there's so many different barriers we're breaking, so many world changing implications of what we're doing here. And I hope you all feel as excited and empowered as we are to take this on, and looking forward to working with some of you guys this summer. So we're all accessible. Literally, if you go on the About page that Sierra linked, all of our emails are there. Feel free to reach out. Really just know that we're here for it. You know, we're here for all you guys, and really excited to get to work this summer. So I'll stick around for another minute or two, but just want to say thank you all again. Really, really appreciate your time and look forward to seeing you guys soon.